I'm on a step stool right now so I could see how much was fitting in the screen. So excuse the noise of my step stool dragging across the floor. Okay, that's over. I have some starter that I need to do something with. This starter has a little bit of salt in it, but that's it. And it has a little bit of salt in it because I thought it was going to be dough, but I neglected it. And so now I'm just calling it starter because it kind of is. It just has some salt in it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some of this starter into a bowl for pretzels, and I'm going to put some starter into a bowl for tortillas, and who knows what else. Maybe a pita, maybe a baguette, maybe a mini loaves. I don't know. This is a lot of discard. And if all else fails, I can just make flour bread in a frying pan like my great-grandma did. So here we go. The craziest part about this is I laid a spoon and a fork over top of this because it was, I don't know why. I don't have any excuses. It was stupid. But I have to fish them out now. So that's really fun and cool. And I'm glad I did that. There's one. Where's the fork? I don't even know why I was using both a fork and a spoon, but okay. That's insane, and I don't know why I did it. But solved. Okay, so let's pour some of this in here. Ready? I'm not measuring. See how I'm not measuring? We're just gonna pour some. It doesn't matter. Does not matter. And this is active, by the way. This isn't deflated. It's currently bubbling. So this is the amount. I don't know how much it is. What do you think? Half a cup, 3/4 of a cup? Who knows? And then I'm gonna get another bowl. And we're gonna do, let's pour some more out. Again, we're not gonna measure it. Do you see the bubbles? Can you see the bubbles? That's my favorite part. Bubbles. All right. There we go. That's another pile of sourdough. Oh, there's my tea. And this might be my last bowl. I don't really need to save this because I have other sourdough. Or maybe, I don't know. We'll see. I'm not making any promises. I'm going to rinse this off. I can't really pause the video because I would have to get the step stool back out because I can't see the button. And I don't have any fancy way to turn it off from afar. So, do occupy yourself, please, for the next couple seconds while I get these fingies clean. Okay. Done. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do, I'm going to just put a random amount of water. This is a measure. You know what? I was going to use a measuring cup, but just to prove to you that you don't have to measure anything, let's use a teacup, okay? Any water will do. Just pour some in there. I'm gonna hold off on this one. Let's wait, because I don't know if I'm gonna keep it as a starter or if we're gonna make a dough. We'll see. I'm going to add a little bit more water to this one, just for fun. Why not? Okay. Then we're gonna add some dough. If you notice, this is exactly how we would be feeding our starter as well. Some water, some dough. I mean, some water, some flour. but I actually want to make something thicker than what we do when we make a starter. So a starter is like pancake batter consistency. This is going to be more like one's going to be Play-Doh consistency probably, and the other one, I don't know. I don't care. I don't really want to do a floopy one. A floopy consistency would be like Focaccia, but I don't really feel like we need Focaccia right now. But anyway, how much flour did we put in? I don't know. But I'll tell you what I am going to do. I'm going to use this spoon that I dug out of the other thing. And I'm just going to mix this. This is going to become some kind of dough. We don't know who it will be yet. Oh. And we're just going to add more water as we need it. I'm gonna make this one stiffer, firmer, drier. You know why? Because it's in a tiny, shallow bowl, and I don't need it getting crazy and flying all over the place and spilling out of the bowl. So it's gonna be a really pretty well-formed dough. I'm gonna put some more flour in because it's not a well-formed dough yet, is it? Do you see that? I can't work that with my hands yet. It's more like pancake batter. So more flour goes in. Didn't measure it. Again, doesn't matter. And at this time, I'm going to add in, before it's completely mixed, just so that it's a little bit easier on me, I'm going to add in a little bit more salt. Again, not measuring. How much is that? Kosher salt. I don't know. That's how much I put in. And then we're going to put in a little bit of oil. Again, not measuring. Boosh. Boosh. I don't know. How much is that? In my head, I'm going for something like a tablespoon, teaspoon. I'm not going for a fourth of a cup. I'm going for spoon amounts. But that's about all I keep in my mind is, you know, don't use a fourth a cup of salt. That would be crazy. Don't use a fourth cup of oil. That would be crazy. Everything else, though, you want to use a fourth a cup? Go for it. You want to put in 4 cups? Go for it. You want to use a cup of starter and a cup of flour, 2 cups of flour, 2 cups of starter, 1 cup of flour. You're going to get bread. You just got to find the right way to cook it. If you use a whole lot of water, like 2 cups of water, and 2 cups of water to 1 cup of flour. Why can't I think? That would just be the flour bread or a pancake. It would be like a batter consistency if you use more flour or more starter. Okay, so see how this is like a firm dough? It's not going to floop and expand out of this bowl because it's not great. It's also not very much. This is a small amount. I want more than that. So now would be a good time to show you that even though I've already mixed this, this has my my oil in it, some salt in it, my starter in it, my flour in it, my water in it, and it is a dough ball. It's a tiny dough ball, and I think it's silly, so I want more. So why don't I show you how to add more starter to it? I don't need to add more starter to this, but I did want to show my sister how to add starter to an already formed hunk of dough. It's not pleasant. I don't really enjoy it because you have to like crab claw pinch it in. You can also use a spoon, I guess, but so I'm just gonna, again, not measuring, adding a random amount. I don't know. My only goal here is to not let it overflow out of the bowl. So I didn't want to add enough starter that I'd have to add so much flour that it's coming out of the bowl. It's my only thing I'm paying attention to. I'm adding more flour in a random amount. And I'm just going to start pressing the dough ball around it. Kind of crab clawing. Just working it in. Picking up flour as I go. Now, if I decide that this is going to be pretzels, I would add honey. But I don't know if I'm going to make this one pretzels or this one pretzels. So, we'll see. So, I'm not really doing any kind of method for kneading this. I'm just squeezing it and having fun. As though it were Play-Doh. There is no rhyme or reason. Just mixing it all together. Making sure it's all combined. Okay, I don't want any more of this because look how dry and like, I don't know, this just feels done. It just feels like a dough. You know, we're not measuring. We're just seeing how dough-like we can make something. This is very dough-like. Might pick up a little bit more flour. And then I might transfer this flour to this other bowl. Oh, okay. I'm happy with that. Are you happy with that? Does it look like dough that you've seen around? Looks like dough to me. Let's get this dumped in here. I knew that was going to happen. I was trying to get it before it did, before it fell out of my hand. But all right, so that's done. I'm trying to get it into a ball shape. Okay. Boom. We have something that's going to be something. We can flatten it out into pizza. We can make it into tortillas, pretzels, pita, baguette, loaf, whatever we want. Okay, so the first one I mixed with a spoon, right? I'm just going to do this one with my hand. This is that starter that we put in. A little bit of water and some flour. No measuring. We even added some of the flour from this one. Just combining it all. Okay, so this is very, very dry. That's not a dough. Look at it. Right? So what do you need to add? If this were Play-Doh, what would you add to this? If this were clay, to make it dough? You would add water. Or you could also add more starter. Should we add more starter? Why not? We'll add both. How about some water and some starter? Let's do the starter first. Okay, that seems like an amount. And here's some water. Now, I don't want this to get too wet because I don't want to make a focaccia, which is a very wet dough. If I do make it too wet, so be it. We have a focaccia, but I think I want to do tortillas because we have some ground pork that I wanted to make some enchiladas with. So I'm just going to add a little bit of water at a time to this one so that I don't just make it way too wet. Trying to just use one hand now too, because this is going to just get super sticky. It can take more water for sure. See? Okay, it's starting to stick together. That's a type of dough, right? It's very close to this one though, and I want two different consistencies just for funsies. So let's put some more water in. No, I want this way wetter just to show you guys. Hold on. Let me get some more water out of the sink. Okay. There. I did it. I did this thing I said I wasn't gonna do. I didn't add it a little bit at a time. This is why people like recipes, so that you don't end up adding a little bit of flour, a little bit of water, a little bit of flour. But I like this. I like this. I don't know, not wasting another dish, because look at how much of a mess I make. I don't want to measure it. I would rather waste my time mixing to some random consistency that I want than my time washing dishes that I didn't need. I'm gonna need more flour now because I put too much water in. A little bit of flour, right? Don't be crazy. Don't be crazy. Because this is a pancake batter consistency, which will make flour bread on the stove. But we're trying to make some kind of formed something, right? We don't know yet what it's going to be, but a little bit wet, a little bit formed, somewhere in the middle. Not quite pancake batter. Oh, this is looking good. This is looking supple. It's sticking together, but it is still wetter than this thing, right? Look how firm that is. There. You see the difference? This is me squeezing this one. Squeezing, and one just kind of like, yeah. Different texture, obviously. We're gonna do a little bit more flour. A little bit at a time. Just until it's sticking together. So when I squeeze it, I want it to just stick together a smidge more than it is. No reason. Other than I want it to be a dough and not a batter for the sake of calling it a dough. You know what? Maybe the last one, that last bowl where I was like, I don't know what I want to do with it. Maybe I'll show you how to do a batter. Would that be good? Okay, that's what I'll do. Get all this off. So the one thing you do want to note when you're adding your starter, just make sure there's more flour in it than there is starter. That's the only thing, because you don't want your starter to starve, so you always want to feed it an equal amount or more. But as you saw, I didn't really make that very precise. I just made sure there's a ton of flour in here compared to the starter. That way I don't even have to worry about it. All right. I'm gonna add a little bit more water. touch. Oop. There's my little crab claw. That's kind of how you mix moist ingredients into a already formed dough, is you kind of pinch it. You do a little pinching. It kind of incorporates it. Pinch, pinch. And I'm kind of like pushing my thumb in. So I'm scooping it up and then pushing it in. I still think, let's compare these. Can you even tell? Like, I can tell, but I don't know if y'all can. This is very, very hard, and this one's very soft. Can you tell when they rip? See how that one just like dropped? It was really heavy and dense. And this one's stretchy and gluey. Hopefully you can tell the difference. All right. So I'm gonna be done with this. And these will relax. We're gonna leave them to sit for, I don't know, 30 minutes. That's called something. Auto lease, I think. And it just makes all the gluten easier to work with if you want to shape it, which we do. That's why we made this instead of a batter, because we're going to shape. So the one in the clear bowl is the slightly loose one. And the one in the teal bowl is that firm guy. Have some tea. Probably sourdough in that. Okay, so this was our original starter, right? Let's save some. Let's just save a little. I'm gonna scoop this literally in here, just so we have it for later and we're not out of starter. That will be my new starter in the future. Even though I don't need it, I'm just showing you. With what's left in here, I'm gonna make a batter so that I can make flour bread, which is like a non-sweet pancake, on the stove. So this is going to be not a dough, but a batter. So at least as much flour as there is starter. And this starter, there's no way to measure that unless I scooped it all up. It's all on the edges, a little bit inside. So I'm just gonna use a couple spoonfuls. I don't know. Y'all think that that's pretty much enough? I do. I do. I do. And then we need some water. Okay. This one can take a lot of water, and you're not going to want to use your hands. I'm just going to scrape all this down from the edges, all the starter. Get it incorporated. Stir it all together. Definitely gonna, that's not a batter, see? It's that shaggy, scraggly, chunky, shredded looking dough, right? So, we want a batter. So that's more water. This is like pretty close. Might add a touch more. There we go. We have a batter. Oh, let's do some salt. And I don't think, did you guys see if I added salt to the one in the clear bowl? I didn't. I didn't see. So I put a bunch of salt in here. I'm gonna put a little bit in here. Doodly, 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 doodly. And I'm going to put some in here because I don't know if I did that. And maybe some of there for fun. I don't know. Let's sprinkle some salt around. Who cares? Oh my gosh. I probably got it in my tea. Gross. And we're going to put some oil in here. I don't know, a spoon amount. And I don't know if I put oil in this one or not. Did you guys see? Man, am I gonna have to play it back? Okay, there's the batter. I'm actually gonna add some more because that would only be one little bread. So more water. And you know, at this point, I've added so much flour. I'm definitely past the starter. I've definitely done that. See how it's sticking together? That would not be a batter because it's like, I guess it would be drop dough batter maybe. But we want a more runny batter. So we can pour it. A little bit more. Okay, there we go. That's our 3 things. And I think I'm gonna add just a smidge more water to this one. Just so you guys can see, you know, a slightly runnier version. So I'm gonna put this away. And I'm actually gonna watch the video back and see if I did put oil in this, because if I use this for pretzels, I want some oil in there. I don't know if this is going to be for pretzels or this. One of these is going to be pretzels. Either of them can be. Maybe I should show you some pretzels out of both. So you can see, like, even if it's dry, you can make a pretzel. Even if it's wet, you can make a pretzel. Even if it's dry, you can make a tortilla. Even if it's wet, you can make a tortilla. This isn't going to make a pretzel. You can't even shape this. So, but, you know, it's good to show you that even if you do it all wrong, you can still salvage it just by, like, thinking about, how can I cook this? If it won't hold its own shape, I'm going to have to put it into a loaf pan or a casserole dish, or fry it in a frying pan like a pancake. Or in a waffle maker. You can make a savory waffle. Anything like that. Like, just think about, okay, well, I can't make what I wanted to make because I'm new to this. But I can still salvage it and make something. That's not to say that you're going to not be able to make the thing you wanted to make, because I think it's simple enough to just remember goopy dough, firm dough, or something in between. Like, that's pretty simple. You don't want this for crackers. You can't make crackers. Technically, you actually could. If you spread it thin enough, you could make crackers out of this too. But I don't know if I'm confusing you. I'm trying to simplify it. My point is just, I didn't measure any of this. There's no recipe. And I'm going to have 3 delicious bread type things to eat. And we don't even have to decide what it's going to be yet. You heard me knowing that in general, I kind of want one of these to be a pretzel, but I'm probably going to decide which one at the last minute and just add some honey. That's the only difference. And this, when it's batter, you can add some baking soda in it to make it rise quicker too. So you can just use discard as well. You don't have to use active starter, which I did today. But yeah, so I'm going to hit stop. Let me get my stool. And climb the Rapunzel stairs up to you guys. All right, I'll see you in like 30 minutes.